Mike Perry on the phone. Mike?
Yes, sir.
Hey, buddy, you're talking to Matt and Jim. How are you?
What's up, Mike?
What's up, Matt? Sarah, it's been a minute since last time I talked to you. I let you down the next night.
First of all, I don't know if you ever seen my record. You never let me down. And every time you lose, Mike Perry, you lose going forward, which is something I fucking admire. Everybody, listen, you got that people have that little it factor. Win, lose, fucking, hopefully not a draw. That'd be boring. But win or lose, dude, people like to watch you fight.
Yeah,
Mike
you've
Perry.
lost 2 decisions. I mean, you've gone the distance in both times you lost.
Yeah,
But,
man.
it means a lot when you tell me that, I didn't lose your respect or whatever, because I've been thinking a lot about one thing, and that I'm not even ranked, and I have the dream to be a world champion, and you were a world champion, and there's a long road ahead of me to become one. After the long path behind me on the road I've already traveled, I can't believe the amount of road in front of me to become a fucking world champion.
Man, it's not all about laying people out, Mike Perry. It's about perseverance, man. And you've shown that you could, slip up, something not go your way, and then you come out to lay people out after that. So you've shown that before after your Joe Ban fight. And I'm pretty confident you're going to show it again, man. I'm excited. I'm excited when I hear you're fighting. I get, all right, I like that. Right, Jimmy?
And the fact that you're not currently in the top 15, it shows you how deep that division is. But, look what happened to Bisping, or all of a sudden now Yoel Romero, how fast things can change. So I wouldn't be discouraged. You have a long road ahead of you, but it might not be as long as you think.
Might not, especially with a good management team like Abraham.
Now that you trust your management team, what makes you have faith in the management team?
Before I made it into the UFC, my last fight, I was 7-0. I fought this guy at Island Fights named Frank Carrillo, and I met Yoel Romero. He was ringside and watched my knockout. I actually have a picture of the guy laying down and Yoel Romero's jaws dropped. I talked to him after at the club with Abraham, and I asked and my girlfriend asked Yoel some questions, and does he trust him? And Yoel was with my life, and I couldn't just take that either, even though I respect Yoel so much. But then I gave him a chance. I got to know him myself, and you know what? He's grown on me, man. He's become a friend.
Now you lost to Ponzinibbio, who, look, he's a tremendously good fighter. What did you learn from that fight? Like, was there anything unexpected? Was he tougher than you thought he would be? I'm sure you're tougher than he thought you would be, because you guys both took each other's punches, which was incredible, because you guys both are knockout artists, and you both were standing at the end of the fight. What surprised you about him?
Well, it wasn't his toughness. It was his intelligence. I thought he was dumber. He's very smart. He ran and he played the points, and he did tricky little things that, like, when I would catch him with that right hand, I may have thought it hit him a little harder than it did, because the way he turned his face when I hit him, and the way he pulled away and went towards the cage to get me to follow and chase. And then he would catch me with those spinning attacks, like he got the knockdown with my, when you're going forward, your momentum's in a bad place, and you got to watch that.
Tell me about it. I've been there, Mike. I've been a fucking highlight with that shit. Yo, let me ask you something, because I don't know if I talked to you since then. With your last, I believe it was your last weigh-ins. Yeah, I like when Jimmy, he's eyeing they get the stare down. All of a sudden, fucking Mike Perry starts like sniffing around the guy. He starts sniffing. What are you smelling? Fear? What is going on there, Mike Perry?
No, man, Sean Shelby was like, Mike, come on, man, take a step back from me, man. Just back up, Mike. That's far enough, Mike. And I was like, come on, man, let me get close, man. Let me smell him. Let me taste this motherfucker. I'm going to eat him tomorrow. You got a lot of energy in. And they don't ever want to get in my face. They don't want to fight like I want to fight. It's not what they want to do. And I know that you have to be smart, and a fighter like me, you can't get in there and fight with. So, I fight for, it's funny, the wrong reasons. I fight for fighting, but that's not going to give me the win anymore. So I've been practicing the points and the technique and the fundamentals, and and I might have to get booed once or twice to make my opponent impatient, so that they can come stepping in and try to get me. And then, here's the thing: I do all this training, self-defense, martial arts, and that's what martial arts really is. It's a self-defense. It's not really an attack method. It's a defense mechanism. And what I mean by that is, if I stood in the middle of the ring and I didn't press forward so much, what's my opponent have to do? He has to come into my bubble. And if you come into my bubble, that's where I'm going to hurt you at. So I need to let these guys try to come into my bubble and see if I can get my hands on them. Because, like, whenever me and Ponzinibbio were clinched up, he would push and run away as fast as he could. Nobody wants to be in that clinch with me. And I see it in every UFC fight night, pay-per-view, anywhere. People are throwing the elbow in the clinch, and they'll land it clean. And nobody goes to sleep, though. Ain't nobody landing that Kilbo like I did.
Kilbo. I like that.
Yeah, it is rare that you see somebody get who just threw a heavy elbow and knocked somebody out. It's not as common.
Matt Brown.
It was Matt Brown, right?
Sanchez.
Yeah. It was like a first round knockout, right?
Yeah, with Diego Sanchez.
Yeah.
That was fucking brutal.
Yeah, so now, Mike, after this loss, it was obviously a fight that meant a lot to you. Did it take you a little bit to get back into the gym? Or what is your thought process after something like this happens that kind of gets you refocused to get back in? Is it disheartening, or are you motivated by it?
It's both. It's neither one of those. I guess it's a little motivation to be better in my, but here's the thing: I take that Ponzinibbio fight, and I see a lot of things that I did right. So again, when I go back to the gym, I can't totally rewrite the board. I have to continue to do the things I did right, and the things at the high levels that you do wrong are so small; they're very easy to miss. And like I said, I think it was the pressure a lot, and so it's rewriting my DNA from the inside. The want to fight, the urge to fight, is not getting me the win anymore. It used to. I got to keep that urge to fight, that anger, that power in my back pocket, and I got to play these points, and I got to run away from the guys and poke these guys. If they want to run away from me, you're going to see me, run around a little bit more for them. And I always think back to Anderson Silva. One time when I was an amateur, I fought this guy at 170, and we were the only fight in the state of Florida to go 5 rounds. It was the second time I fought the dude. He was 28 years old. I was about 20, and he was 6'4", 6'5" at 170 pounds, and he was built too. He wasn't that skinny. He was ripped up. And the first time we fought, he could touch my face, and my punches were just missing his face. But how I beat him the first time for the Florida State title was I would close the gap, put him against the wall, pick him up, and slam him. But he was touching my face a lot on the way in. It wasn't hurting. I can take shots all day, but that's not necessarily what you want to do.
Right.
So the second fight, I thought about what Silva did, and what he does is just patient. He just shuffle steps side to side, left and right, all the way around the octagon. Guys would stand in the middle, and he's constantly jogging around the octagon. So I've been working a lot on just continuously moving. When I'm throwing my combinations, when I'm not throwing my combinations, you got to move your feet, you got to move your head, you got to move your hands, you got to move for 15 minutes. I can do that all day, right?
How was your energy by the third round in that fight?
Man, I thought I had it right where I wanted it. If you look at the first 20, 30 seconds of that third round, because that week in Canada, I watched the Ponzinibbio versus Talib fight, and they go 3 rounds, and in the third round, Ponzinibbio won the first 2, and in the third round, he was slower, and Talib's length started catching up to Ponzinibbio. But Talib's he's a good kicker, but he's not as good of a boxer. So his ability to cut off the ring and land the hooks over the straight shots that Ponzinibbio throws aren't as good as my capability. So when I come out in the third round, you can see it right away. He throws a jab. I slip to the left of the jab. I throw a good outside leg kick. And then he throws another jab. I slipped inside through my jab, busted up that eye right away. And then he threw something else, and I threw the right hook over the top. Boom, I got him backing away. I thought I had him right where I wanted him, and that's where he kind of drew me in. And I go chasing him to get the finish. And then I thought, because he kept turning his back. And, you don't want to punch the guy in the back of the head because it's not supposed to be legal, but the ref does say if you spin and turn and I land the shot in the back of the head, it's your fault.
Yeah. So
if you spin on me and turn your back and think that's going to protect you, from now on I'm punching people square in the back of the head if I have to. I got to get the win. And when he turned, I thought he was going to run into my left kick. I'm up on one leg, and he threw this fucking spinning back fist that made it in because, another thing, I guess, I fight a lot with my hands down, and it works a lot. But there's nothing wrong with practicing more with my hands right there by my chin. If that back fist would have hit my wrist, we could be talking a different story. So, I'm looking. But Max is a totally different opponent. He comes in and out. Maybe he's been working his angles, maybe not. I'm pretty sure he's straightforward and back. He's a big 1-2, 1-1-2, big on that right hand. He likes to throw that right hand, which leaves him susceptible to my overhand right if I lean to the outside to my left and throw it around or up the middle or over the top. He's pretty susceptible to guys like that. And even if he heard this, it's not going to change anything. I always say what I'm going to do to my opponent.
Yeah.
And if he starts dodging the right hand, the left hook's coming over the top. So, and I'm going to be working some kicks in this fight to keep him at bay while I'm shuffling side to side like Anderson Silva. I'm going to be throwing little side kicks at him, little front teep kicks, little rear leg front kicks, and I'm just going to try to tap him because if I tap him, I know the knockout will come.
Now, you say Anderson Silva. Speaking of Brazilian legends, did I see that Jacare is training at your school? Is that correct, or am I off with that?
Oh, no, he is, man. He is. You are correct.
How did that come about? Because you don't have like a huge team, but listen, that's not necessarily the best thing, having a big, huge like fight camp or whatever, How did he end up with you guys?
I really don't know if we can't talk a lot. Like, we say little things because his English isn't perfect. I put my hands up to him all the time and say, this is the language that we speak the same.
I like that.
I love having him, man. He's a very, very great guy. He's very humble. We have a lot of Brazilians at our camp that have come to train with. I don't know if Jacare just ended up in Central Florida or if he knew about Julian Williams, my jiu-jitsu coach, my MMA coach. Julian Williams is an amazing, amazing grappler. I've never felt another grappler like him. He's 36 years old. He still beats on me, holds me down. He does the Khabib. He does the Khabib to everybody. I think that's a big reason. And Jacare will tell you, Julian Williams, man, he's so good, man. He's the best, man. So we're grateful to have him.
He's a Brazilian guy? What's his name again?
No. Julian Williams is half black, half white. His father was, I believe his name is Reggie Williams, who was a linebacker number 52 or 53 for the Bengals. He played in the NFL for about 12 years, 13 years, his dad did. And our school, Fusion Excel, is a sister school to American Top Team Orlando, who Paul Rodriguez is Julian Williams' jiu-jitsu coach, who gave Julian his black belt. And Paul Rodriguez got his black belt from one of the greats.
He's an OG. I know Paul. Paul's a good dude.
Okay, you know Paul. Yeah, he is. He's a Pride UFC guy.
Yeah, man.
He is an OG, man. He's very, very
I had
knowledgeable
to
guy.
grapple
These are
him
guys
to get the. I had to grapple him to in the ADCC trials to get to Abu Dhabi. He was my final match, Paul Rodriguez.
That's
Back when you were probably 3. Back in the day, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Ah, shit, I like to reminisce with Mike Perry. Well, listen, Mike Perry, you're 25 years old, dude, and I had my first fight in the UFC at 26. So your journey is just fucking getting started, man. Jimmy, we're going to be watching him for years to come, smashing people.
I think so too. And you seem like you really like. How much studying do you do about your opponent before? Because you seem very, very well versed in what these guys do right and wrong.
I watch about a minute and a half of their latest fight, and I might go to another fight. You know, I watched the 86 seconds with Gunnar Nelson before I fought because I realized, and you know, I knew I was looking at as a strong left hand, and I was beating him with the jab all night, but then when the left hook wasn't landing, me and Ponzi were both dodging the right hand well, and he started throwing the right hand from the left hook side by throwing spinning back fist. That's a veteran adjustment. He is older than me. He's got the best record in the welterweight division. He's done well for himself. At the same time, fuck Ponzinibbio. He was recently talking shit because I was on the MMA Hour and stuff, and like he was like, talk less, fight more. And I was like, fuck you, bitch. I'm going to see you again. Believe that. And you know, I told him after the fight, you know, I hope you become world champion, man. You fucking got me. You lasted 15 minutes. He's a tough son of a gun, but you know, he's taking his little 15-minute runaway with the W win too far and thinks that was good enough. But I bet he shit the brick when we actually do face off again.
I love it. But a minute and a half of the fight, like, so that I think Conor said the same thing. He doesn't watch a lot of his opponent's stuff. And I guess there's two schools of thought on it. Some guys want to see every fight someone's had. And I guess you figure in a fight things are too unpredictable. You don't want to get bogged down in the studying, thinking you know what he's going to do.
Yeah, you know, because you got to focus on yourself and what you want to do, what you're going to create. And that's most important because we've seen, you know, when you think you've seen it all, though, something else comes up. You know what's really changed? The way that I learned Muay Thai was a kick to the thigh. There's different ways to defend that and different ways to go about moving around that. Now it's this calf kick is the next big thing. A guy runs away, turns around, kicks you in the calf. Few of them bitches, my legs swelled up by 3 times the size of itself. Couple of calf kicks. Now, I tried a couple of tricks. I saw a Bellator fight recently. The guy just kept taking this damn kick. He didn't switch southpaw. He didn't do nothing. And by the 3rd round, the fight was ended because of leg kicks. The ref stopped it. And me, I picked my leg up out of the way. I tried to side kick him over the leg kick. I tried to check it. I also tried that funny little, when he got it landed, I picked it up off the ground, that kind of BJ Penn, move it out of the way thing. And I tried a few tricks. And I mean, you don't feel it in the fight. That adrenaline is a crazy thing. But after the fight, you know, 5 minutes after I cool down,
you're icing that thing.
You can't walk. You can't fucking walk.
Well, did you see Romero after this last fight? He looked like he was good, and then literally after he had done the post-fight interview, he had his arms around his trainers. He was like hopping on one leg.
It happens in a split second like that. You know what I mean? It's crazy, and his was from defending the kick. He was good enough to, when he checked the kick, he hurt himself and Rockhold's shin started bleeding. That motherfucker stopped throwing that kick, though, didn't he?
Yeah, I think his shin, if I remember right, didn't it start bleeding pretty early? Like, I want to say early in the first round.
Halfway
his shin started,
First two kicks.
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was an early fight. Well, Mike, you know we love you, man, and you're always fun to watch. And you know, even in a loss, it was a great fight, and it was a decision. And you're certainly not an easy fight for anybody in the UFC. And this is a great card. You and Max Griffin are leading off the main card here. It's UFC on Fox this Saturday, 8:00. You're fighting in your home, hometown of Orlando. How does that feel for you?
You know, this is, each time I fight in the UFC, it's always next one's the best one. This is the next one. It is the best one. and it always is. But there's something different. I'm so comfortable. I woke up in my own bed this morning. My boy just came to the hotel and cut my hair. My normal barber, like I never get a haircut this close to the fight. I'm always cut like a week before, and the amount of people that are gonna be here for me. I mean, Canada was cheering my name, but I didn't know them. When I walk out in this fight, I know I'm gonna see thousands of people and I'm going to recognize their faces, and they're going to be giving me their energy, and I'm just going to absorb it and focus it. And I trained my ass off for this fight with a coach that really knows what he's doing. With me, we link well, and what's funny is the coach was like, this is the fight you train your ass off for, but it's only going to last 20 seconds. You put in all this time and all these weeks of hard training, running laps around the track. Listen, I don't know if you've ever ran sprint laps around a track, consecutive laps. Like you run a sprint in 1 minute around a track, and then you rest for 30 seconds, and then you run another one, and then you run, and then you rest, and then you run 6 more. And then you got to do it again the next week, and your coach wants you to beat your times from the last week. And I'm like, yo, it's way easier to just stand in the middle and get punched in my face. Track. And like the whole week, I'm dreading the track. Like when I think about it, I almost cry because I'm competing against myself, and I am my own worst enemy. And my numbers are not easy to beat, and it's just. But that's what I went through. I went through that shit for this. And there's nothing that's going to hurt me. Nothing that's going to stop me. But you ain't got to stop me to beat me. I've said that. The 2 times I lost, I didn't get fucking stopped.
Right.
But I'm going to totally disrespect his offense completely. There's nothing I respect about it. He could punch me in my face with his hardest punch. I'm going to laugh at him, and I'm going to hit him 10 fucking times. I'm going to fuck this man up.
Yes.
All right, Max Griffin and Mike Perry lead off the main card this Saturday in Orlando. Good luck, Mike, and we'll talk to you after your fight. We always enjoy having you on.
Mike Perry.
Bless you guys, man. I appreciate you guys taking time to talk to me. God bless you.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Take care, Mike.
He's a fun guy, man.